Hello and welcome to another episode of me painting again. Oh yes, we're painting again. And today I'm going to do something fantastic. Something unbelievable. Well, not really. But let's pretend anyway. I'm getting some of this ultramarine blue. You see, some of it's dried, some of it's still wet. This is the one paint I've got tons of because I made some. And if you've ever made paint before, you think to yourself, oh, I'll just make myself a little bit. And you fill up a tube. You fill up another tube. And another tube. Big tubes as well. And you're like, wow, I've got lots. A lot more than I thought. So I was only going to make a couple of tubes. I ended up making tons. But that's good because I like using ultramarine blue. Got a little bit of another blue there. I'm going to throw that in. A bit of red as well. Ooh. That might... that's like a crimson. No, it's a violet actually. It's that quincy one. Let's get... well, actually, I might use this to start with. This has not got any white in. Oh, yeah. Whoa. So I'm doing the sea, painting the sea this time. Let's get some of this here. So when you're painting the sea, you have to think about the lack of white sometimes because when you put white in, it tends to look less transparent, so you can use your darks where you want it to be deep and sort of you can see into it. Then I tend to not use any white except on the top. Oh, it all makes sense in my head. It's just a way of leaving areas so they're not... they're not what? I don't really know, actually. Let's put some lighter colour up here. This is the same colour, just with white in it. Same colour, just with white. La-di-dee, la-di-da. It's just like painting a wall. So the question is, do you need your horizon line to be straight? Well, I've taken plenty of photos where the horizons are and I've had to straighten them. I remember when I got called out on it once. Your horizon on that photo is all lopsided. I was like, yeah, well, I can straighten it up in some editing software, no problem. Why don't you take the photo straight originally? Obviously, I had no answer for that. Other than it didn't really matter. Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Because I can straighten it up in Photoshop. But why don't you straighten it up when you take the photo? Well, it doesn't matter. That's a funny argument, isn't it? Let's get some blue going along there. Some blue. It's blue and there's a little bit more white in that, so than down here. There's less white. More white, less white. Lots of white. It's all really simple painting is in the end. It's all really easy and really simple. Eventually it is. Well, so I've been told. I'm still in the struggling part. I'm still trying to work this all out. Use my finger to do this. And then the horizon, I don't want it to be quite strong, so I use my finger just to go along that as well. There we go. Brilliant. Absolute brilliance. And then down here, let's imagine there's a little bit of beach. So if I get a little bit of, I'll try and show my plate because I know it's good to see what's going on. There's the blues, look. There's the bit of red. I just chucked in the blue. There's the middle blue, the light blue. So I kind of go light to dark on the plate, and then when I want to do something else, I kind of mix in the corner like that. If it's your first time painting, that may give you an idea for mixing, using different areas to pull into. So you use less paint this way by using the same area and just pulling into little parts. Like if I wanted to do a darker one than this, I'll probably go there so I can pull that colour in, and do it in that area. Because then you're not mixing with white, you're mixing with your darks, avoiding the white. It's a really good tip, that is. That's a really good one. I was watching The Apprentice, and they said they were showing this massage thing. I'll talk and paint. I'm using this for my rock colour, by the way. This is the blue with a little bit of the browny colour. Putting in some rocks. Ooh, that's a funny looking rock. Oh, let's make it a bit more interesting. I might have a piece that goes there as well. There we go. So I'm making these quite light and faint in a way because I don't want them to be far forward, and I'll just soften the edge at the base as well because I want them to stay there, not come too forward as yet. I want to change that as well to like that. That's different. Whoop. Yeah, quite like that actually. I might start using another brush to start adding some wave type things going on in there. I haven't got any reference for this one. I'm using an old painting that I did, but I'm not using colour reference. I'm just using like my memory for other paintings and just hopefully making things up as I go along a little bit. And then so just as an example, I grabbed some white and I started mixing my colour here at the light end, but then pulling a little bit of that colour in to make it, and then you can sort of go into it and you can make different light versions. Look, maybe you want it to be a bit darker, so you can pull that in. It's the way I always mix colours in like that sort of pattern. Everyone does things differently though, so don't feel like, well, this is the way Jason does it. I saw it on YouTube, so this is the way it must be. Because you'll find a way that you like better. It's just the way I like, and you might not like it as much. You might find different ways. But if you're a beginner and you find it helpful, then that's all that matters to me, really. So we've got a splash there. Maybe we'll have another bit of a wave coming here. Not sure how that rock would affect this wave. Because that rock's kind of breaking up the wave a little bit, isn't it? But then this is quite far in front, really. So I use my finger just to go along the bottom, just to bring that together. There we go. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, because I'm thinking maybe there'd be a splash there. Of sorts behind this wave. Maybe there's one of those part waves. Yeah. So this is where it gets darker. Look. You just assume the darker it is, the deeper it is. It's just an assumption, isn't it? So I'm going to grab some yellow ochre. I wonder if that'll look like yellow ochre and blue. Will that look more beach-like? I think it needs more of that rock colour in the same colour. Let's just throw it together and see what happens. Sometimes a bit of experimentation goes a long way. So your homework really is to get better at painting. This is my own personal thought. Your homework is to study the natural world, photos, videos, and get an idea of nature and the reactions of things. And didn't do this far enough. It should be over here. Oh, there's rocks there. That would be why. Well, I want the blue there as well, so I can play with it afterwards. So I'm going to go into a middle of the road colour for this, because I don't want this to be too harsh, that line there. So sort of bringing it together here. Something like that. I'm not sure about you, but I see a wave here where that dark bit is. That is a wave, isn't it? We're going to have to put a wave there, because that's got wave written all over it. So, thinking about where the light is, we could have the light behind, maybe sort of here, and then that will affect everything that's below it. Or we could have the light coming from this way, and it's quite misty. It's not hard lit, is it? It's quite misty back there, looking at the colours of them rocks. So the light maybe just breaking through and just hitting some areas. Could do that. Well, while I think about that, I'm gonna put the top of the wave here, because that looks like a wave there. Maybe it's sort of breaking there a bit as well. It does, doesn't it? It does look like it's breaking. It definitely looks like it's breaking there. I think there's one there as well, just behind, like there. That wave's looking a bit ferocious. Maybe it's get them splashes going there. Definitely is looking ferocious. Have it break in there as well. Something like that. We can use our finger just to smudge that a little bit into the blue, and then we can choose then how bright we want this to go. And also, you got to think about what kind of style you want. See, style's a funny thing. I used to really think about it at one point, and I was like, oh, what style? What style's my style? Bit of yellow ochre in that bit there, just to add a bit of a sunlight colour. Bit there, look. Have a little bit come in. Mix a little bit of that in there. That looks like it's going to be going there. Well, we've totally changed this idea now. Oh well. Sometimes that happens though. You get an idea. If you're painting like this where it's just for fun and you're just messing about, you want to do a painting and practice. Yeah, so going back to the idea of style, I read quite a lot of it on it, and then eventually what I found was that your style is your hand at work, like a bit like a person's writing, and your style just comes out as you write or paint, and eventually your ideas as well, and the subjects you enjoy painting and the colours you like using all starts coming out in your individuality of the way you paint, but when it comes to your style of painting, it's very much your hand at work. So basically, to to conclude that information, I'll go with doesn't really matter. Just keep painting, and your style of painting, your look, the painting look that you want, your naturalness anyway, will come out just by you doing paintings. Just going to put a little bit of foam in there. So I want to flatten this out a little bit, so it's a bit of a hint of a yellowy colour in that. Maybe you don't want to do too much. If you want it to look a little bit more subdued, you don't have to do too much to things. I feel like this needs a little bit more going down there, a little bit more there. This way I can just keep that quite nice and soft there. If you want it to be more blue or more yellow, it's up to you. Gonna have that sort of coming down. Something like that. Let's have a few of these. Going to get a little bit more light for this area there. And anywhere where you want a bit more light hitting, maybe there's a bit more hitting there. You can use the liner brush, whatever you want to do, you can do that. You can get really into it. I'm keeping this quite flat. I've got this splashy bit there, and then a few little splodges going, maybe a few there as well. Maybe lighten that a bit more, give it a bit more splodge. I quite like the way the lights hit in that area because it shows a bit more, doesn't it? And you can choose. See, if I put my highlights all on this here, then that would come out more. If you put more detail there, I'm going to use like some bluey stuff just to have a little bit, and it'll fade away a little bit as well. But that little bit more, is enough. But if you really detail that item, then that will be your focus point. So you think about the more detail you put in, the more focus it brings. So this area brings the most focus, either detail, light, because that's the lightest parts, brings more focus. I'm just throwing in some information here and there. Might help. I don't always. Sometimes I just paint away and just enjoy myself, and sometimes I feel like, ooh, I could do a teaching moment here. I think that'll do, actually. Sometimes I put too many of these in and then I have to paint them out. I quite like the way that's looking, to be honest. I might put a few distant ones in here because that's quite just a bit nothingness, isn't it? But not too bright. Just use the brush over and over on that area, and then I can get rid of it as it goes further away. But I think that's a bit better. I like that goes there. Something I like about that. So I might whack a rock in the on the beach. So just to show, that rock is that colour because it's far away. But if it was here, it would be this colour. A bit darker than that, actually. This colour. That rock, be a bit there. bit there, and a bit of a rock there as well. I think I'll put. And then, of course, because we've put a rock there now, we're going to need a bit of a shadow there. And the shadow indicates how much light is and the angle of the light. So that's something to think about when you're putting your shadow in. And then I can put a little bit of a highlight on this. I'm going to go in some yellow ochre and a bit of white, because that's what our light colour is, isn't it? And then I can throw a little bit of a reddish brown in there as well. I'll just pull that across. And you can choose how light you want that rock to be. That just shows you how to get a nice dark rock in there, and it makes those look a lot lighter then. And I'll put a little bit of blue around it. Bit of a pool. A bit of a rock pool there. We've got water coming in that way as well. We can put in little water bits if you want to. It's another detail that you can add. I think I might put a little bit of a reflection in there as well. Just want to warm that shadow up a bit. It's a bit dull. Something like that. Maybe a few more little things, little pebbles and stuff. I've got some nice white pebbles actually. I picked up off the beach. I'll put some of them in. I put them in my fish tank. They look nice. How do they look? I don't want them to look out of place, so I'll put a few more in. So those rocks will probably be this colour. But these washed up from somewhere else. So yeah, there we go. There's a fun little painting. And again, those highlights on this rock are not as bright as them, so just to exaggerate it a bit more. And you can see that how that area is the lightest, and it's really exaggerated that it's the lightest. And as those pebbles start drying a bit, they should start dulling a bit more, because they're competing now. What a disaster! I've done bright pebbles. What did I do that for? Could knock them back with a little bit of blue though, like this. That sends them back a little bit. There we go. That's a fun little painting. This, you could do this as a beginner. You could do this easy as an expert. You could do better. You can even, if you wanted to, you could get a smaller brush and start putting in these sort of lines that you get on the waves to add something to it, if you wanted to. Add a little bit of detail, because like I said, the detail is what sends your eye to an area. The lack of detail sends your eye, just takes it in and then moves to where the detail is, which is all this sort of thing, and then you can add a bit more if you wish. You can do all kinds of things. I think I'll finish there. Maybe I'll put a seagull far out in the up here. Not far out, just there. My paint was a little bit wet. Didn't want to do that. That's how not to do a seagull. Now this one, a little bit lighter. So, let's get rid of that. Terrible. So we've done how not to do it, and then we've done how to do it. Not so wet, so it splodges. So yeah, there we go. It's a fun little seascape. Tried to add a little bit of teaching moments, just to help out a bit. And I just wet my finger. I just want to dull that. I'll just pick up the blue a little bit. There we go. Just dull that as well. Just a little bit. Pushing and pulling, you see. Pull out the darks and the lights. So yeah, anyway, we'll call that one finished. A nice little seascape with a few moments of thought. So thanks very much for watching this one, and I'll see you at another one. Cheers, bye.